A powerful dive cuts through the air, locking onto the target in an instant. Every movement of the eagle is a precise calculation. The moment the prey falls into its sight, all escape routes disappear completely. When another hunter appears, order collapses into an intense confrontation of skill and dominance. And in this sky, the one at the top does not need to display power. Mere presence is enough. Eagles are a group of apex birds of prey, with more than 60 species widely distributed across North America, Eurasia, and Africa. An adult individual weighs about 15 pounds and has evolved to operate with high efficiency in the air. Exceptional eyesight allows them to detect prey from very long distances. The core strength of an eagle lies in its ability to control space, turning the sky into a survival advantage. Within ecosystems, they serve as population regulators, removing weaker or poorly adapted individuals, thereby contributing to the maintenance of natural balance. In tropical rainforests and open woodlands of Africa and South America, monkeys are considered masters of three-dimensional space. With a lightweight body of about 25 pounds, long limbs, and a balancing tail, they move smoothly through the upper canopy, where the ground seems far behind. Among the treetops, monkeys hold a clear advantage: wide visibility, multiple escape routes, and a sense of security within the dense network of branches and leaves. But the forest canopy is not beyond the reach of the sky. From above, an eagle observes in a completely different way, with vision 4 to 5 times sharper than that of humans, sharp enough to detect even the slightest unusual movement within thick foliage. A single individual distracted by feeding and lowering its guard creates an immediate opening. The eagle descends, draws in its wings, and navigates through gaps in the canopy, delivering a precisely timed strike that ends the hunt in an instant. The peak of this strategy belongs to the harpy eagle, the powerful phantom of the deep forest. With legs as thick as a human wrist and talons reaching up to 5 inches long, it is among the strongest birds of prey on Earth, capable of lifting animals such as sloths or monkeys weighing up to 25 pounds and carrying them back to the nest to feed its young. Amid the Rocky Mountains, where thin air and harsh terrain prevail, only well-adapted species are able to survive. Mountain goats, with a low center of gravity and specially cushioned hooves, turn sheer cliffs into safe refuges, avoiding most ground-based predators. But at those heights, the most dangerous threat comes from the sky, the golden eagle. The hunter approaches in silence, its wingspan stretching nearly 7 feet, adjusting each beat as it glides close to the rock face without contact. When a young goat weighing around 10 pounds strays from its mother's protection, the eagle quickly sets its attack path. Pulling in its wings, it dives like a living arrow. The young goat is lifted from the cliff and carried away through open air. Although direct encounters with adult goats are rare, some highly experienced eagles are willing to attempt riskier strategies. Rather than lifting a heavier opponent, they apply constant pressure and control positioning. A single misstep is enough for gravity to finish the outcome. In this unforgiving terrain, the eagle does not rely on absolute strength. It relies on turning the mountain itself into an ally. In the natural world, the encounter between eagles and snakes symbolizes precision confronting venom. Eagles that hunt snakes, especially the brown snake eagle, possess specialized biological adaptations that allow effective control over this type of prey. In every hunt, the eagle focuses on the opponent's head region. With gripping force from its talons reaching around 400 psi, it secures the head or the area just behind it, neutralizing the snake's ability to strike or deliver venom within moments. Along coastal regions and island environments where sea snakes are found, the white-bellied sea eagle is even known to target the banded sea snake, a species with extremely potent venom. Despite mastery of the ocean, sea snakes must surface to breathe. That brief and vulnerable moment determines the outcome. The eagle seizes the opportunity, takes control of the space, and concludes the encounter according to the uncompromising laws of nature. Into an ally. A varied diet turns eagles into silent order regulators of the sky. Beyond hunting ground animals, they also exert clear pressure on many other bird species. When targeting groups of bee-eaters within their own habitat, eagles rarely rush an attack. Instead, they appear suddenly from a strategic altitude, instantly throwing the small formation into disarray. In that brief moment of confusion, a single precisely timed move is enough to separate one individual from the flock in midair. Against larger targets, such as solitary geese weighing around 10 to 12 pounds, eagles rely on their signature diving strike. The approach typically aims at a wing or the neck area, where disrupting balance is enough to shift control of the air entirely. In open space, the one that controls altitude always holds the advantage. More dramatically, even smaller birds of prey, such as hawks, vultures, or owls, may sometimes become opponents. Despite their agility, they struggle to counter the eagle's wide wingspan and superior gripping strength. In nature, any individual separated from its group faces clear disadvantage, and ecological order is maintained in this quiet yet enduring way. In winter, when familiar prey becomes scarce, eagles are forced to take greater risks to survive. They turn to high-risk, opportunistic targets such as foxes, most often young, injured, or inattentive individuals. Foxes are known for agility and cunning, so the eagle does not act impulsively, instead calculating every step of the approach with care. Rather than striking head-on, the eagle uses altitude and terrain to move in from beyond the prey's awareness. When the moment is right, the dive is swift and precise, forcing the fox to react from a disadvantaged position. A single unfavorable second is enough to determine the outcome. However, that advantage does not always guarantee success. An alert adult fox can still escape by relying on speed and terrain, and may even resist if it survives the initial strike. This reflects the stark adaptation of both species under the pressure of survival. Eagles, especially the bald eagle, are often called masters of the sky for their highly refined fish hunting skills. For this predator, fish make up nearly 70% of the diet, turning open water into a familiar part of its territory. The hunt begins from a staggering height, where exceptional eyesight allows even the slightest movement beneath the surface to be detected from hundreds of feet away. Once the target is located, the eagle pulls in its wings and drops into a precise dive. Just above the water, the talons extend forward to secure the fish, while the rough, textured pads on the feet help prevent slipping. After gaining control of the catch, the eagle immediately regains altitude, leaving the water safely behind. The combination of vision, speed, and muscular strength turns each fishing hunt into a display of calculated precision, where control of the sky also means command over the world below. On the open savannah, sometimes the most intimidating presence is not a single predator, but an entire pack of wild dogs appearing at once. They do not arrive to test their luck. They arrive with a plan, operating together like a single machine. Here, one mistimed move means losing the advantage, and one slow step means being pushed out of the contest. So who truly commands this land? The strength of one individual or the power of the pack? Wild dogs and lions are bound in an unavoidable relationship of tension. They pursue the same large prey and compete for the same living space, often crossing paths along territorial boundaries and around shared food sources. When a direct encounter occurs, the balance clearly favors the lion. A single unexpected advance can quickly place the wild dogs at a disadvantage if awareness slips for even a moment. The risk is even greater for younger members of the pack, as lions may attempt to remove future competition to protect their position. To endure, wild dogs rely on constant vigilance, rapid movement, and the readiness to disperse when lions draw near. Survival is not always found in confrontation, but in knowing when to step back to protect the future of the entire pack. Along the edges of the savannah, where trees grow denser, wild dogs and baboons are sometimes forced to share the same space. Adult baboons are large, physically strong, and highly intelligent. With tall trees and rocky ledges as support, they move with confidence, climbing quickly and standing firm within large groups. Wild dogs quickly recognize the imbalance when facing adult baboons directly. A baboon holds its ground, using size and the surrounding vegetation to respond decisively, prompting the pack to keep its distance. After a few brief approaches and careful assessments, the wild dogs gradually pull back, yielding space to the group that clearly controls the area. Opportunities usually appear when a younger individual falls behind, momentarily separated from the protective circle. A short, precise approach follows. The encounter ends quickly, and the pack withdraws before the situation can shift. For wild dogs, an adult elephant marks a boundary that cannot be crossed. A young elephant, however, can briefly create a sense of possibility, nearly as large as a fully grown buffalo, moving a little slower at times, it may drift toward the edge of the group within just a few steps. The wild dog pack immediately shifts into an opportunistic mode, looking for a chance to separate the young elephant. But the elephant herd reacts even faster. Adults close in, forming a solid barrier, drawing the calf safely into the center. With a single decisive advance, the balance changes. The wild dogs disperse instantly, because at this distance, one mistimed move carries real consequences. The pack withdraws, as if there had never been an attempt at all. The lesson is clear. Endurance allows wild dogs to survive, but when facing elephants, the discipline of the herd is something that cannot be broken. Across Africa's open grasslands, the impala represents alertness and speed. A full-grown individual can accelerate beyond 50 miles per hour within just a few strides, leaping over 10 feet while changing direction. Yet the impala's greatest strength is not muscle alone, but the ability to sustain long-distance movement across wide, open terrain. Wild dogs understand this well. They rarely launch into a full sprint at the start. The pursuit begins with steady pressure, forcing the impala to maintain high speed over extended distances. Fatigue gradually builds, and every shift in the landscape can become a decisive turning point. When the savannah opens toward shallow water, the strategy shifts. One group cuts off the path, guiding the impala toward the river's edge. In the water, wild dogs swim efficiently, quietly closing the distance. The escape space narrows with each moment. The chase ends quickly as the pack works together to draw the impala back onto land. There is no display, only an energy-efficient plan carried out with precision. Success does not belong to the fastest runner, but to those who know exactly where to bring the pursuit to an end. During migration season, wildebeest become a large but well-matched challenge for wild dogs. Weighing over 400 pounds and moving with endurance in tight formations, they are difficult to separate as long as the herd remains organized. For this reason, wild dogs stay close to the outer edges, waiting for the precise moment when one individual falls out of rhythm, turning numerical pressure into opportunity. The encounter begins with a calculated pursuit, stretching across several miles. Members of the pack take turns applying pressure, forcing the wildebeest to maintain a high pace without pause. There is no recovery window, no safe point to slow down. Each rotation conserves energy for the pack, while the target steadily loses its advantage. As the distance closes, the formation tightens with discipline. The final phase unfolds smoothly. The pursuit ends quickly, not as a result of raw speed, but as a natural outcome of greater endurance. This strategy gives wild dogs one of the highest success rates on the savannah, often exceeding 70%. Within the ecological cycle, endurance and coordination do more than provide an advantage. They shape the very survival of a species. The leopard is a solitary hunter, adapted to silence and surprise. It typically acts quickly, then moves its catch into dense cover or up into trees to avoid attention. Yet this very habit places it on a collision course with wild dogs, pack hunters that range widely and remain alert to every opening. When a pack of wild dogs appears, the pace shifts immediately. There is no single direct charge, only repeated pressure from multiple directions. Under the weight of numbers and continuous approaches, holding on to a catch becomes increasingly difficult. In encounters like this, the leopard often chooses to withdraw, not because it lacks strength, but because direct confrontation is not its path to survival. The wild dogs do not need to pursue. Collective pressure has already done its work. The encounter closes quickly. On the savannah, success is sometimes not about force, but about compelling an opponent to move away at the right moment. The African buffalo is one of the most challenging targets on the savannah. A full-grown individual can weigh more than 1,300 pounds, equipped with curved, sharp horns and extremely fast defensive reactions. When standing within the herd, buffalo form a unified front, leaving predators with very few openings. Wild dogs understand these limits well. They do not attempt a direct approach. Instead, the pack moves alongside the herd, using endurance to apply constant pressure along the outer edge. The goal is to wear down a single adult, forcing it to fall behind. Once enough dogs gather around the separated individual, the pursuit reaches its conclusion. With younger buffalo, whether moving beside their mothers or not, the situation is far less complex for the pack. Numbers create immediate control, leaving little space for escape. On the savannah, Success does not come from head-on confrontation, but from steadily draining energy and drawing an opponent away from the protection of the group. From dense jungles to icy mountain peaks, eagles do not simply hunt, they command space through flight. Every glide is calculated, every dive is the result of adaptation. Nature grants power not to the most aggressive, but to those who control timing. If viewers wish to continue exploring the silent confrontations of the wild world, liking and subscribing ensures they will not miss the stories ahead.